And we're live. All right, guys, this is the Part of My Jerk podcast. Me and Dunk are here. We're going to be talking about the Open. This is going to be our Open wrap-up show, and we're going to be talking about some things going on in the news right now and what has been a pretty crazy final week of the Open. What's up, Dunk?
What's going on, man?
All right, man. So, Open's in the books. We did want to take some time to sort of talk about, our reactions. Talk about some crazy stuff going on in the news, because it just so happens that the week that we are talking about this, a lot of crazy shit has been happening. It's kind of difficult to figure out where to even start. So, but first, I'm dusting something off this week. We are bringing, now that the Open is over, I'm bringing back jerk work. Okay. So this week's jerk work, or this episode's jerk work, today was a heavy day for us. So all we did was a lot of snatching and snatch complexes. But we did do a fun little hypertrophy finisher. And a lot of CrossFitters struggle with hypertrophy stuff because they like taking bodybuilding and turning it into CrossFit-y stuff. But this is a fun one we did. I think it's super effective, and it's basically heavy dumbbell rows. So grab the heaviest dumbbell you have in the gym, or the heaviest one that you can row. You're going to go 8 sets per arm. Okay. 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off, alternating arms. So you're going to go 10 seconds of single arm dumbbell row, 10 seconds to rest, transition to the other arm, 10 seconds of single arm dumbbell rows, 10 seconds to rest, transition to the next arm, get as many reps as you can. We're going to go to 8 sets per arm. You follow?
Yep.
Yeah. So highly recommend, give this one a shot. So grab, how heavy of dumbbells do you have in your gym?
Hundreds.
That's what I use, is 100. And it was like perk. So the rule is in 10 seconds. So I told the guys before we did it, I don't care if your range of motion is just like 2 inches, you cannot stop.
Yeah, you got a bunch of bro reps happening in there, I bet.
Oh, it's great though, because because once you get to that point, your biceps, your lower traps, your lats, they're just all on fire. So single arm dumbbell rows for 10 seconds, as many as you can get. And even at that weight, you can get a lot in there. Just don't even look at the clock. Just go till you hear it beep. It was awesome.
Was it standing like a bent over row, or was it chest supported?
I leaned against the pads on the GHD.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. I liked having something like lean against.
Yeah.
But yeah, give that one. It takes what? Each set is 40 seconds times 8. That's 320 seconds. So the whole thing takes a little over 5 minutes. Perfect little finisher for the end of a workout.
Oh man, those Tabata style things just get me just wrecked.
It was good. Would you say your workout is tomorrow? You have Grace?
Yeah, I got Grace tomorrow.
Perfect one to do after Grace. How are you going to break up Grace? You're going to go unbroken? 15 and 15 singles? What are you going to do?
I think I usually, every time I do Grace, I think I go for 20 and then take a breath and just jump back on for 10.
Is that faster, you think?
I don't know. I usually just go, my strategy is to kind of go until you feel like you're about to hit failure. Take a little bit of a break, and then you might just go until you finish.
That's an interesting approach. We were actually just talking about Grace in the gym yesterday. And I was like, I feel like you either go unbroken and go fast, or just do singles is the fastest way to do it. Yeah, but I feel like everybody who just does it singles, their times are essentially 1 minute and 40 to 2:10. And there's not really you can't really go there's not a whole lot more you can take off of it at a certain point, 1 minute and 50 to 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah. I'm always amazed by how fast people do singles, because it's I'm going to pump out these 15, and then I look over at the next person next to me doing the same 15 3 seconds slower, and I'm coughing up a lung, and they're just kind of just going about their day.
Right. Singles. I'd be curious to compare me and you, because our clean and jerks are pretty similar. I'd be curious to see who finishes first if I did all singles and you went 15 and 15 or something.
I think it'd be better if you did the 15 and 15 and I did the singles.
No, it would not be better.
You take a little
You
bit longer.
cycle light barbells much faster than I do. You're much more, like, you're better about that. But anyway, so 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off, 16 total intervals, single arm dumbbell rows, the heaviest bell that you can row. You can't put it down. Awesome back finisher. So, all right, Dunk. So lots of stuff going on in the news. What is there anything particular you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about the Jamie Simmons injury.
Good place to start. So what happened with that? You probably read more about that than I did.
I just saw that she hurt her shoulder and she was pulling out for the year. That was really all I saw about it.
These women, man, they're dropping like flies this year. It's unsettling.
Yeah, it seemed the way she worded it though, it seemed like she was like something that's it's kind of not that big of a deal, but it really just affected the workout that she was about to do, so she couldn't get through it.
So is she officially pulling out, or is she going to try for like the last chance qualifier, or
I think she pulled out completely. Yeah.
Jeez. I think I mean, that's very unfortunate. I'm a big fan of Jamie Simmons.
Yeah, me too.
The bigger story here almost though is just like, okay, so now we lost Sigmund's daughter. Okay, now we lost Simmons. Now we lost and I don't know what's going on with Kristen Holtz. I guess she's competing.
She's competing in the Masters, or at least she's listed as a master.
I know she's listed as a master. I don't know where she plans on competing at. I think Annie Thor's daughter said she was competing, but I don't think she's really quite back yet. You know what I mean? Like we're just losing high level female competitors all over the place.
Yeah, I know. So you're saying Annie Thor's daughter's not back yet?
I think she did the Open. Like she's given her best shot, but like I just don't think she's all the way back there.
Fully yet. Back, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Jamie Simmons doesn't list much about what she did or how the severity of it. She just says she's pulling out for the year. So
another high level female. It's just to make it tougher for like that women's competitive field.
Like very, very high level. Like those are like top 10 finishers typically.
Two. Well, really, if you include Holta, that's 3 women that were in my top 10 power rank.
Yeah. Yeah, mine too.
Yeah. So, yeah. Best wishes out to Jamie Simmons.
I wonder why that is though.
Recovery.
I wonder why that is. Why this year is more so than any other year. I mean, it's not like they're coming off a grueling season. I wonder if it's because they came off of a season in which it wasn't as strenuous. Really? I don't know.
Honestly, man, I think it's just Murphy's Law. I think it's just it
was bound to happen at some point.
Rule of chaos, like stuff just happens sometimes. It's just a weird timing, you know. We see this in the NFL every year, right? Like we get to like the end of September and like dudes are dropping like ACLs are popping off like all over the place. We're like, are injuries up in the NFL this year? It's like, no. It always looks like really bad when you're in the thick of it, you know?
Yeah, but these are like not the first injuries that we've had, but like they're pretty big injuries for top level athletes where we don't normally have.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Except for occasional one-offs or usually you'll see them sort of address that type of stuff. I don't know. But so I think the next one I kind of want to transition to in here because most of the other stuff we have to talk about is like open related. Big news that's been titillated to us for weeks now finally came to the forefront. Mr. Josh Bridges will be participating in an exhibition bout, no headgear, I believe 12-ounce gloves. What is it? 6 rounds, 3-minute rounds against Jacob Heppner. So I actually decided I wanted to make sure I honored Josh Bridges this evening, wearing his Born Primitive jorts available to you in this month's Gains box. So, yeah, wearing my Josh Bridges official Born Primitive cutoff jorts. If you haven't bought them yet, exceptionally comfy pair of jorts. Possibly order a size larger than normal because they're a squeeze.
little tight.
Yeah, I snatched in them this evening. So
Oh,
I don't
God.
I don't know how much more of an endorsement you can possibly give to a pair of jorts than I did a full snatch in them.
Yeah. Okay, so you were right. Six rounds, 6 3-minute rounds, 12-ounce gloves, no headgear. It is the undercard for the Hafthor Bjornsson and Eddie Hall fight.
So yeah, there's so much to unpack here. We could do an entire podcast just about this fight, and we probably will. But first things first, like I'm for sure buying this fight and inviting people over.
I'm fairly certain I was going to buy it before, but now I'm definitely going to buy it.
Yeah, for real, man.
It needs to happen.
I want to see Thor and Hall fight each other. First of all,
Yeah,
that's going to be. Those are two men. That
it's going to be a beautiful disaster.
They're going to be not particularly great at fight, but it's like two men of your size, stature, and strength are not supposed to be punching things. Like you could literally kill the other man.
Yeah. I'm fair. I enjoy Eddie Hall's YouTube videos every once in a while, and he's sent a couple of his sparring partners to the hospital already.
I mean, it's not funny. it's not funny, but oh my God,
I think it's funny
being in the ring with that guy.
I think it's funny because someone actually signed up to do this like every day.
Yeah, right.
It's like, all right, this guy doesn't have a clue how to box, but like, homeboy's going to figure out how to throw a punch.
So, all right. So obviously, like I'm Team Bridges, right? I'm rooting for that guy. But
I think that's the majority.
Yeah, probably most people. But we were talking about it a little bit last night. I don't gloss over Jacob Heppner's ability to win this fight.
Now, why do you say that?
All right. So here's my pros for Jacob Heppner, and then I'll give you my pros for Josh Bridges. I'll say why Bridges has a shot. Jacob Heppner, 10 years younger than Josh Bridges, somewhere in that vicinity.
I believe so.
Jacob Heppner outweighs Bridges by about 30 pounds, but Bridges did ask him to come down and wait for the fight. So we'll see if he actually does that.
How old is Bridges?
37, 38.
Jacob Heppner is 31. He is 5'7" and weighs 195 pounds.
Stop playing. He's 5'7"?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I would have thought much taller. He looks so much taller than that.
Bro, why do you think anybody that does CrossFit besides Fikowski is over like 5'8"?
Dude, 5'7"'s pretty short though. Like he looks like 5'10".
I thought that Frazier looked like he was 5'10", but the homeboy is like 5'6", and
that's generous.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. Well, okay, so still advantage in reach to Hepner. Okay, advantage in weight to Hepner. Like I said, advantage in youth to Hepner. And like when you're talking combat sports, like giving up 10 pounds to somebody is a big difference, much less 15 or 20 or maybe even more.
Josh Bridges 5'5", 170.
Yeah, that's what he was saying he was. So I and it's like we keep assuming, and like we were saying last night, yes, Josh was a Navy SEAL. Yes, Josh is a certified bad motherfucker. But like that doesn't mean he has training in a, first of all, a sport. Like
right.
You wouldn't say Josh Bridges is going to win this like soccer match because he was a Navy SEAL. Like boxing is its own sport in of itself with a ton of skill involved, and they're both amateurs.
Look, if I've seen Hepner shoot a basketball and it's not pretty, homeboy is like, he played football, but I would not call him an athlete.
I was going to get there. So, what is it? What was it? The brute throwdown? Is that what that was?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. That did Hepner no favors.
Oh yeah, that did not shine a good light on him.
Athletic ability or prowess for that poor bastard.
I was like, good Lord, man.
Yeah, I don't know if they could have picked a worse athlete to do the brute throwdown with, but so that was going to be my advantage potentially. Bridges appears to just be a better all around athlete, potentially pick up new skills like the definition of athleticism is the ability to learn new skills quickly. And I would give big time advantage Bridges on that one.
Yeah, but with that being said, I've seen like wrestlers try and shoot a basketball too, and they're all garbage at it. So it's like, what can you really take from like seeing that if he can dribble a basketball as opposed to throwing a punch? So
that's true. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I guess Bridges has a wrestling background. Does that translate to boxing at all? Maybe just living in that sort of combat sports realm maybe translates a little bit better. I'm
sure that like Bridges has picked up boxing gloves and like thrown some punches more so than what Hepner has.
Right. Were you like me that like as soon as you heard Hepner was fighting Bridges, you were just like, oh, like Hepner started boxing the day he signed on the dotted line for that fight?
Yes. Yeah.
Like he was doing no prep going like.
Otherwise, he did a very good job of hiding the fact that he was straight because he like YouTubes his whole life.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So like you feel like you would have seen something at this point, unless it was like that big of a secret.
So let me ask you this. I got 2 questions for you.
Okay.
One, we now have Bridges versus Hepner, right? So now we're seeing this whole sort of in the boxing world, like this, like sort of this trend of like, oh, I can just capitalize on my platform and my celebrity to have people pay me a shitload of money to watch me fight another celebrity. Right. So potentially this could be a trend that we see in the fitness community of like, oh yeah, I would love to see such and such person fight such and such person and they'll get paydays and it'll be great for them. Right. So who in the CrossFit world would you want to say, let's say in the CrossFit world and in the sports world, who would you want to see fight each other?
Oh man,
box each other, I guess would be better.
That is a question that I was not prepared for. I would want to see, I don't know who we'd fight against. I don't even know why I would want to see this person fight, but Roman Krennikov, just because I think Russians are nasty.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, you're right.
Like he might be the nicest person in the world, but he's Russian, so I automatically am intimidated by him.
Well, if you're gonna have a nasty, big, strong Russian dude in a boxing match, he has to be fighting an Italian American. So yeah. Joe Scally, maybe.
Joe Scally.
Oh. who's an Italian American CrossFitter?
My God, I don't know. I have no idea. I got one. Rich Froning and Matt Hewitt.
Oh, I wasn't going to get into that. I didn't want to.
Why not?
I don't want to go.
Am I going to rub salt on the wounds or anything?
Even the part in my jerk podcast is better than slumming down to talk about that kind of drama.
We don't have to talk about the drama, but it would be fun to see them go at it because I don't think they like each other.
Like if anyone listening doesn't know what we're talking about, listen to the Coffee Pods and Wads podcast with a Matt Hewitt episode. You'll hear all the information you need to hear on all that. But I do agree with you. That would be an awesome boxing match to watch.
Yeah, there might be too much drama there, but it'd be fun.
I thought you were going to say Froning Fraser.
No, that's too easy.
Yeah.
I feel like that was just like such a over dramatized argument.
Yeah. I would say I would want to see Jason Khalipa fight somebody.
Oh yeah. I think Jason Khalipa is just too nice.
The problem with Khalipa is I don't know if there's anybody in CrossFit that's in his weight class. He'd have to fight like Fikowski. But my first thought is like I want to see Khalipa and like Matt Chan.
Ooh.
I think that'd be a good one. Khalipa and Chan.
Yeah, I want to see Spieler go get somebody just because he's so small.
Spieler Bridges, man, they're like the same relative kind of. I mean, Bridges has a huge weight advantage on him, but I thought that too. I was like, because he leaked it a little early. It's like it's another retired CrossFitter, and I was like, give me Spiel. That'd be awesome.
All right, I got somebody for Khalipa, and you'll love it. Sam Dancer.
Next match.
In the same weight class.
next match. We're not going to open that one up. What about 2 women? Are there 2 women? Because I'd love to see Cara Saunders fight. All right, here we go. Cara Saunders versus Pat Bellner. That's the one.
Cara Saunders all day. Yeah,
That's the
Sam
fight I
Briggs,
want to see.
Sam Briggs versus Brent Fikowski.
Dude, it's these nasty British people, man. Like, like Sam, like, that Sam Briggs, she's rolled a little bit,
Yeah.
like she's like pretty like she's pretty open, like that she like still drinks beer and eats like that, like she spends time in those British pubs, which is funny because she's like the best endurance athlete in CrossFit Games history, and she's like,
it's wild.
Oh man, I would like to see Froning fight, like box somebody, just because he's like such a ball sport, team sport athlete. Seem like,
oh man, how have we not gone down Fraser and Gerard?
Oh yeah, that wins.
Next.
Yeah, next question. That is one. Yeah, Fraser Gerard is the answer for that one. What about like a pro athlete? Are there any pro athletes you want to see fight each other?
Who's like the scariest pro athlete? Like Ndamukong Suh, like 5 years ago, maybe.
Well, who would you say?
I would say Ndamukong Suh like 5 years ago.
Definitely up there. Draymond Green thinks he is.
Yeah. Draymond Green. Let's go like prime Ben Wallace against Draymond Green.
Oh, but that wouldn't be a fight. Come on.
I know, but I would love to see Draymond Green get his face kicked in. That would be entertaining to watch.
I want to see like Aaron Rodgers fight Brett Favre. That'd be a cool fight.
Aaron Rodgers fight Brett Favre. Nice.
Well, there's got to be been some like there's been got to be some like quarterback drama that we haven't seen. That we're not thinking of.
We can go Cam Newton and Josh Norman.
Ooh, okay. Or Derrick Henry fight like a live rhinoceros. That'd be.
Yeah, I think the rhinoceros might be the underdog.
That was funny. He was like, he went viral for for a little bit there. Like every time Derrick Henry works out, like Sports Center's like, we need to get this out there for the public to see.
Yeah, and it's like the headline.
Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy. And it's like, yeah, we get it. Like he lifts, like he works. He's an NFL player. They all work out like maniacs. Like that's nothing new. Yeah.
And he's not the biggest one. He's just the biggest running back.
Right. And I actually ran the numbers on this. We're getting off topic, but I actually ran the numbers on this. The thing that he's a freak show about isn't his weight or his size or his weight or his strength. He's just tall. Like,
yeah,
there's no other running back in the NFL at 6'3". But he was doing push-ups with his feet on a physio ball, his hands on a band in the rig. So like they're doing the chaos push-ups where the band is supporting your weight. And then he had a 50-pound chain on his back as he's doing the push-ups. And I'm sitting here watching, and maybe this is how people feel when they watch us do CrossFit. Is I'm like sitting here watching, and I'm like, I mean, that's a cool party trick, but what the fuck does that have anything to do with football? Like,
yeah, no, I was like, you would walk into that gym and be like, what a clown. Like, what's this guy doing?
Yeah, right. I'm like, that's cool that you can do that. And of course, this whole entourage is watching him and videotaping him as he's doing it. But I'm like, yeah, that's really great in the situations where you need to like pick up a blitz for a guy that weighs 100 pounds, but he's real unstable, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
But like, no, just show me a guy that's just strong and explosive. That's what you need to be a running back, you know?
Dude, I like watching all those NFL athletes that like don't know how to Olympic lift, but clean like 400 pounds.
Yeah. For real.
Well, who was it? It was like Tristan Wirfs, I think. I watched him clean 400 for like a set of 3.
Yeah.
That's the impressive stuff.
Yeah, for real. But anyway, I digress. We'll save that for when we start our football podcast, which is down the pipeline. We got to talk about that later. But speaking of Fraser, so I heard Fraser on the Josh Matt Sevon podcast, which I think we plug every episode for us.
Yeah.
But now for the second time, I've heard Fraser mention that he eats Snickers bars during competition. So we have a competition together coming up in April. What is the over under on the number of athletes we see there eating Snickers bars?
go 6. I'm going to say 6.
Generous. Wow. I wouldn't have said that high, but
No?
I think that's fair. I think that's coming from an intelligent and informed position for sure.
I think you got these like local athletes that like think that they're like way better than they are. So they got their Pyrex, like potatoes and chicken that they've got wrapped in aluminum foil to keep warm for the entire day.
Oh, my favorite at a CrossFit competition is the athletes that bring the massage gun.
Oh yeah.
Those are the best. The ones that they're just sitting there and just like leisurely like having a conversation about like how many butterfly pull-ups they can do. And they're just sitting there just like working the gun into their chest casually. Like we don't.
I've seen some people bring the muscle stem. That's always a good one.
I don't know. I mean, all of that stuff. Like I love like just the casual, like, oh yeah, just I'm really taking my recovery seriously now. Like that's cool, bro.
I remember a competition we went to where we brought like a 3-foot long sub. We just went to town on that. That's the recovery that's necessary right there.
Yeah, right. It's like, yeah, it's not a 5-day competition, guys. Like, just go lay down, eat some food, you know, gets like do like the cool down type of thing. But so perfect segue. Atlas Games and German Throwdown moved online due to COVID restrictions.
Where are they located?
I think the German Throwdown is in Germany.
That
you'll have to check my facts on that one.
Yeah, that would be my first guess.
Atlas Games, good question. I think it's a European one.
Yeah, I think most of Europe is like shut down still completely.
Yeah, cursory Google search, talk dunk while I'm doing this.
I mean, we were always going to see some of these sanctionals get moved online. I think if we can manage to get more than half of them in person, I think we'll be doing okay for this year. So
yeah,
I think if we can get some with some sort of fans at the venue, then I think that's a win for the year.
Atlas Games are, I think, Canada. It says North America on the Noble CrossFit Games website. I know we went over this before. I just can't remember for the life of me. June 7th to the 13th. Montreal. Okay. Montreal, yep. Because I knew the United States events. So yeah. So sorry, veered off of course there for a little bit, but how do you feel about this? What do you think?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, there's no getting around it. Like, it sucks that we can't do it in person because I don't think it's as good of a test online virtually. They can't do as much. It doesn't have that same atmosphere. It sucks, but it is what it is. Like I said, we don't want to get into another COVID conversation. So
yeah, we'll avoid the COVID topic, but I'm just I'm vehemently at all costs anti-online competition. I understand the necessity for it at certain times. I get why they have to do it here. I mean, what else are they going to do, right? Keeping my own opinions about COVID aside, like, good for them for not canceling it. Good for them for finding a viable solution. But the sort of the bigger thing here is I just am not into online competition generally as a whole, especially at the elite level.
I'm with you, but
it's okay. Forget sandbagging it aside, right? Like, let's say we have perfect standards met for everything with like 2 judges standing over the shoulder, measuring every little thing, right? Fine. Okay. Forget the whole thing with like, as a spectator, it kind of sucks. I probably wasn't going to watch the German Throwdown anyway, so it's fine. But my bigger issue with it is, as far as the elite level competition goes, is I'm going to steal James Fitzgerald's sort of metaphor here. And it's like, basically, we're trying to find the world's greatest hockey player. And we're doing it by first entering them in a street hockey tournament. And then whoever wins the street hockey tournament gets entered in a field hockey tournament. And whoever wins the field hockey tournament then gets put into the roller hockey tournament. and then we put them into the hockey game.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I was like, wow, that's like, at first I was like, that's really stupid. But the more I thought about it, I was like, yeah, you're kind of right. Like, if that's what happened, that's like kind of the nature of online events, is like you can't test fitness in the same way you test at the big show.
Yeah, I mean, you could test it and you can get the answer. It's just not the same as like if they're going to test two of them online, it should all be online, or you know what I mean? Like, because they're not going to get the same level of fitness at these two online comps that they are at the 6 or 7 in-person comps, and that, like, it's just not going to be the same.
Right. And it's like, now they're going to have to put out an equipment list that's like significantly sort of reduced. Like, if we're talking about running, like running is going to have to be in it, right? Well, not everyone's running an equal sort of running course. Like, I don't know. But good for them for figuring it out, and you know what I mean? And we'll hopefully be able to move forward next year.
Yeah, like what is the plan? Like, they're on lockdown. Gyms aren't open yet over there. So like, we're gonna have it looking like the Open did in 21.1? Like, that's not competition standard workouts.
Right. Yeah. I hope they don't. Like, yeah, can they at least get them into a gym? It's like, I mean, I just looked it up. It's not until June. So Jesus Christ, hopefully by June, you know, they're able to
we've been saying hopefully since last March.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Atlas Games. So that's like, I think it said June 7th to the 13th. Wow, that's a long one. And then the German Throwdown, I'll look that up here quick. But yeah, I mean, I anticipated it coming. I anticipated it coming, but yeah, just a little bit sort of, yeah, a little disappointed, I guess. Looking this up when this is, I guess it's not that important, but November. No, that's not right.
That can't be right.
No, yeah. Oh well. Anyway, we'll move on. Now, Open. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Likes, dislikes, good tests, bad tests.
Why don't we get into some of the cool numbers that you found regarding like masters registration and stuff before we start to put our thoughts out there?
Yeah. Well, we spoke about this previously on a podcast, but the Open, in terms of gross registration or total registration, grew by a little over 10% this year, which, when you kind of think about it, is a kind of a staggering number for the Open to grow. When you think about, all right, so we already had all this like negative sort of inertia, right? Away from the Open, lose. Like, I mean, when you see the numbers that they shot down by in the last 2 years, it's very eye-opening. So the fact that they managed to turn that around, period, is kind of amazing to me. And then on top of that, what we saw was, even given all these gyms being shut down, people didn't have access to their gym, to the necessary equipment. They weren't surrounded by their community. Like, how many people sign up for the Open because their 3 buddies at the gym are also doing it, right? And now we have potentially people training alone, or just with their spouse, or just with a buddy, you know, like, and they're still signing up. Like, it shows you like, oh, there's that enthusiasm still exists, right? And I don't really, barring anything going wrong, I don't really see any reason to think that the Open registration wouldn't increase by an even larger margin next year.
Yeah, I mean, you think that probably can only improve it from here, unless, like you said, something just drastically goes wrong in the next 8 months. So, like, there's no reason to think that number won't jump up by 10 to 20% next year.
Yeah, and it seemed like they were a pretty rushed timeline too, right? Like, and I think you saw that, and we spoke about this previously with like the media team, where it was like, they want to build something for the media team. And like, when we were seeing the announcements, we're like, oh, I know that guy. Oh, yeah. I remember you. Oh, it's good to see you. Like, you know, and it was like, seems like they were kind of just lobbing it up like right at the last second. I'm really curious to see what we see as far as next year goes, when we actually have time to really have some runway and build into something. Like they did the badges thing, which was kind of cool, like that type of stuff kind of, might seem dumb to some people, but it matters to a lot of people,
I mean, it was at least it was a good show for people to watch. So like people were interested in what was going on Thursday night, as opposed to like just kind of looking on Instagram in the morning and figure out what the workout was.
Yeah. So by a large margin, I want to say I think the viewership for that noon announcement for the final week by 9% was their most viewed open announcement they'd ever done. And then it was also their most viewed announcement afterwards too. So like the live viewing was up, I might have been more, but at least 9%. And then the post viewing was also up afterwards too.
I mean, they hit like good times. Like it was still fine for the US while also being able to hit Europe and not 1 a.m.
Yeah, it was totally cool for us. I mean, 3 p.m. was no issue, really. I mean, you could still at least have an opportunity to watch it,
Right.
Yeah, so that was I have a feeling we haven't seen the last of that.
I agree.
But on top of that, diving more into some of the numbers, what we also saw this year was, for the first time ever, masters surpassed individuals in total open registration.
That is wild. That is kind of crazy.
I don't know what to make of that.
I don't either. Like, is it good? Is it bad? Like what?
Right. So I think part of me just thinks it's sort of just like a natural kind of process of what you're going to see. And just like people have just been doing CrossFit longer. Like if you started, like I joined my first CrossFit box when I was 22, right? 22, 23 years old. So it's like those people that started when they were in their early 20s, mid 20s, like they're masters athletes now if they have stuck with it that long. So that might just be part of it. But I don't know. It's part of me too is like almost like a little concerned. Like, are we not generating new athletes, or are we not attracting? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. I understand that. I think this year is just going to be such a weird year to judge like who signed up, what age signed up, because it was a 3-week open. It was kind of basic stuff. There wasn't a whole lot to go off of. So I'm thinking like some of the younger, more, I won't say elite athletes, but like advanced athletes were just like, oh yeah, I'll do it. I'm not signing up for it though. Like you might not have gotten as much from like the college kids or whatever because they didn't want to pay for it, but they'll still do it,
Right. I mean, I'm just curious. I'm like, is this reflective of the populations of CrossFit gyms? Are we seeing fewer people under the age of 35?
I mean, if that's the case, wasn't that the goal for them though? They wanted to hit that upper demographic in age, like 35 to like 60. That was their goal for forever, but they want to be healthier. So maybe that's one of the reasons.
Yeah, it could be. It's just like I'm like I heard that number and I'm like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is telling me. I'd love to think about that more.
It sounds cool, but then it's like once you really start to like dig into like what it means for the actual like sport of it, you don't really know.
Right. Yeah, like as far as the sport goes, what does this mean? Does it mean younger athletes don't have an interest in the open? Right? Because you've seen that number, by the way, didn't come out of nowhere, because I think it was Morning Chalk published it, and it was like every year they were getting like a little tighter to one another until they eventually finally passed. Yeah. So that's why part of me just thinks that it's like just the cross section in terms of like age demographic is just getting older. But then I'm like,
also let's think CrossFit started out as a sport where people were scared to do it because it was hard. Now it's become much more of like a mainstream fitness. So the older people are starting to come in and being less afraid to do these workouts, and like they're starting to understand that they're able to do this stuff. Am I making sense?
Yeah, that could be true. You mean just the sort of the branding of CrossFit has changed?
I feel like from like
it feels more
from like
approachable.
2010 to like 2015, CrossFit was just a meme on YouTube where like it was just like, if you do CrossFit, you're gonna get hurt. And then like over the last like 5-6 years, it's kind of gotten away from that a little bit. Like there's still stuff out there, but like it's gotten away from like, this guy does CrossFit, he's not gonna have knees in the next 2 years.
My less optimistic perspective on it is now for people to afford CrossFit almost, or for someone to be interested in CrossFit, they need to be in an older demographic. Where it's like
probably a good reason.
That's like kind of where my brain sort of instantly went, was like, now is it the person that you need to be in prime earning years to afford CrossFit almost as a luxury? Whereas like maybe in years past when it was a little bit more new, a little bit more novel, people were just like, and it was like this when I got started, it was like, you know, what can you pay? All right, like, what can you, come on, we just want you in here. Just come be a part of this. Whereas like now you're seeing so many of them run, and it's not a bad thing explicitly. It's not necessarily a bad thing because you're seeing gyms run like businesses now, right? So it's just, yeah. And to a degree, I think there's like maybe a level of Instagram culture of maybe the average 27-year-old is more interested in going to the Globo gym, being seen, doing the you know, the stuff that they think they're supposed to be doing. And then maybe when you get to a certain age, you realize like the importance of like functionality and the important, like the things that CrossFit brings to you.
Yeah. But like you said, though, like you can get a Globo gym membership for $10 as opposed to a $150 membership to a CrossFit gym.
Also that, right.
And like, if you're like new and you're like, all right, I want to get into fitness, like just looking at those two separate things and not knowing that much about either one, you're going to go with the one that's $10.
Right. Especially the intimidation factor, man, which is something so easy for us to forget about. So if you're new to fitness, stepping into a CrossFit gym, I can't imagine something much more intimidating.
I mean, every time I walked into a new gym, I was intimidated by it, even though I'm not like an elite athlete or anything, but I always feel like I'm an above average athlete.
Right. And so, like, I've been doing this forever and I'm fit. Like, yeah, it isn't, when you walk into a new CrossFit, if I'm traveling and I drop into a gym, it is intimidating.
Yeah.
Like you walk in, like you're like, I don't want to do the wrong thing. I don't want to say the wrong thing to the wrong person. You know, what's okay here? What am I allowed to touch? Like,
right.
Yeah. But, so obviously this was the highest percentage of masters ever. The highest percentage of registration was by masters. But in other news, I think this is a good thing outright is we've had the highest percentage of female registrants, which I think that is just like explicitly, like that's awesome, straight up.
Yeah.
Like that you're not seeing women, and I don't want to pretend that I understand what's going on with a woman when she steps into a CrossFit or a CrossFit gym or understand that, but that they're maybe not afraid to compete or not afraid to express themselves physically that way. Like it's okay to max out your clean and like let out a big grunt and scream out a big fuck yeah, you know what I mean? So you know, I think it's really great. So that I thought was pretty cool.
I agree.
So and lastly in my CrossFit, I guess, open news I had was as CrossFit Inc. released the quarterfinals equipment list. So do you still have that up?
Yeah, give me 1 sec. All right,
so read that off for us.
Yep. The equipment list for the quarterfinals is all of the open equipment that was on the equipment list for the open, a 30-foot of flat space suitable for movements covering distance, 15-foot climbing rope, medicine ball, 20 pounds, 14 pounds, 2 dumbbells, a C2 rower, gymnastics rings, a GHD, and a squat rack. Competition details. All athletes must provide their own judge. Judge must have completed a judge's course. Yeah, that's it. And you must provide a video for each workout.
Well, no, if I was reading about this last night, I think it's judge or video, but you need to be prepared to send a video no matter what. I don't think they need a video for each workout, do they?
Athletes must provide their own judge. Athletes must provide video of each workout.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not what I read. That's not the way I interpreted what I read last night. So I'm going to dive into that a little bit deeper.
I am on the CrossFit Games Instagram page, so you got the email. You might be a little bit more well-informed than I.
I was reading an article on the Games site last night, but I'm going to dive into that a little bit more. But first reaction, I mean, I'm excited. I love GHD sit-ups. I love ring muscle-ups. I love rope climbs. So it's a lot of stuff I like to do got thrown into here.
First reaction for me, I wish they would have had the rower in the open.
I'm also pretty excited that they said that you need to have a squat rack. So potentially the first time ever we've seen a heavy lift out of a rack, which could be cool.
Yeah. So like you're thinking, it's got to be either like a back squat or like an overhead squat. I wouldn't think it just would be a front squat.
Right. You think it would maybe just be like a 1 rep max squat clean if they did it like that.
Yeah. Like get a little
Plus
bit.
Plus they did the front squat thing already.
Yeah. Let's get a little bit creative with it.
Yeah. The 30-foot thing could get interesting for me in my gym.
I thought it was interesting that they offered or that they said you need a 15-foot climbing rope. That's different.
So I was hype about that.
Where are you going to put your rope, man? Is yours 15 foot?
16 foot. So I'm good.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah, dude. I'm excited for that one. Seeing rope climbs in competition. I'm definitely at this point in the game for myself, just going full participation trophy. Just happy to be here. But I was excited to see some stuff on there that's like, I might enjoy this a little bit more. Or some stuff that, like, honestly, some stuff that we do in training very regularly, like rope climbs, legless rope climbs, GHD sit-ups, that I'm not sure every athlete necessarily does regularly.
Yeah.
Handstand walking, with that 30-foot, if those things come out, like even for a bigger athlete, I think that'll be cool for me. Like that's a strength of mine.
I like it because it gives them the ability to be creative with some of the workouts.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't have the full list of equipment that like you can go through when you're at a typical gym or whatnot, but like they gave themselves some good options for like programming some good stuff.
Yeah, we could really see some cool stuff. So the quarterfinals go from Thursday the 8th to Monday the 12th. So we could see easily four, if not 5, maybe 6 or even 7 workouts in that time period.
I mean, why not make it more? Like give some of these athletes that like aren't going to experience like games kind of feel. Give them that feel of like getting 6-7 workouts in a weekend. That
would be cool. That would be a lot of fun. And I think it'd be awesome if they did that.
Yeah,
especially like the way they did the online portion of the games last year, where it's like some of those workouts are quick, sort of easy ones, like the 1K row, the max handstand hold for time. I think that'd be kind of a cool experience. Like, have us do 8 workouts, but like maybe 1 to 3 of them take less than 3 minutes.
Yeah, 1 to 3 of them are like almost like floater workouts in like a local competition.
Exactly.
Like
yeah.
Over in 2 minutes, like max double unders or whatever. Like maybe not double unders, but something along those lines.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I think it's good. I think it's gonna be kind of cool that they put so much stuff out there. It's like I wouldn't even know where to begin on. Trying to guess.
Like it was fun to try and guess for like the open because there was only 5-6 things. But
right.
There's no chance you're going to be able to guess.
Yeah. Where do you even begin? Right. Like just 2 50-pound dumbbells. That alone, it just opens up. I mean, how many different things you could do. Right. And there were so many things we didn't even touch in the open.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, do you really think we're not going to do pull-ups again?
Right.
And we still have the barbell that we can throw in there. And I wasn't totally psyched about seeing a rower come back, but kind of assumed that would be the case.
Dude, I was just dreaming that they'd be like, psych, we're going to throw a rower in the last week of the Open.
So, with that being said, so the Open is done. We've had a couple days to kind of sit back and kind of digest it and decide how we feel about it. How'd you feel about the test this year?
I think it started off with a fizzle and ended with a pretty good bang.
Yeah.
Like the first workout was fine. Like, like got a shoulder pump. Like it was tough. It was hard. It was boring. And then it got better as it went on. Like 17.2. I mean, I enjoyed 17.2 when we did it originally, or 17.1. So I was happy to see that one. And then I thought that the last workout was like, it was really creative and really, really well programmed, I thought.
Yeah, I would pretty much agree with everything you said there. Except I was not a fan of 21.1. But the thing about it is, like, we keep talking valid test. It's like, if you're casting a net as wide as the top 10,000, like, the test doesn't actually need to be super valid, right? Like, because the best athletes, the best of the best are going to make it through there no matter what. And it's like, if we're taking the top 10%, I mean, I would probably, maybe next year say maybe take top 15% or take top 25. Like, for teams, they're taking top 25%. So maybe just make that across the board.
I don't know, man. I was thinking that they need to do something different, because the elite athletes might as well just show up, give 80%, and then just go on about their next 3 hours of training like it wasn't even like a big deal.
Right. For some of these, I think this year the athletes didn't know, because I think what ended up happening is I think a lot of them just went full send on it. They put in their best effort because they didn't know how open seating was going to affect them. Like, did you have do scores totally restart completely clean at quarterfinals? Do we know that? Right. Or like, was it going to hurt you if once you place at a semi, if you hurt yourself in the open, was it going to hurt you in semifinals as far as like your heats or whatever? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think this year the athletes didn't know what to make of it. And they were like, I'm still going to put my best effort into it, because I don't know how it could affect me down the road.
Right. Dude, I had a random thought about 21.3 and 0.4. Like, what if you put that workout in like 2019, when like the open leaderboard mattered and there wasn't a lot of spots to like give away? Like, some of these top guys were finishing like 1,000th in the world because they flew through the first part and then couldn't pick up a barbell. But meanwhile, I did like singles on the chest bar half the time, and I cleaned more than most of the elite athletes did.
Yeah. I really want a shot at 21.3 without there being a lift after.
Yeah.
Because I coasted.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, as long as I finish, I'm happy. And I only took one real shot at this workout. So I was like, as long as I finish, I'm cool. And I just want to save the energy for that clean.
Right.
Because that's where I was going to make up all my ground on that workout. And I ended up having a pretty solid clean complex.
Yeah,
so,
me too. And I'm not nearly as strong as 90% of these guys.
Yeah, right. Totally. So yeah, I'd be curious to take a crack at this one without them, because I'm with you. I think 21.3 was a very good, very creative, good test. My only issue with it, I'll say my only criticism of it is it's kind of in the same sort of vein as the first two were, and that it's like, this is a great workout for the smaller athletes, right? So because I'd be curious to ask Castro, I'm not going to be openly critical of like the movements. I'd be curious to ask Castro why he made the decision to do 95-pound front squats and 95-pound thrusters, which are essentially the same movement, very similar movements.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas like, I feel like in the past, we would have seen that workout be round one is 95-pound front squats, 95-pound thrusters. In that rest interval, you up it to 135.
I think it would have been cool if they just had it 135. Obviously, I thought they would think that this would be cool, but I have it 135 the whole way. So it's like, all right, gymnastics favors the small guy, barbell favors the big guy. Who's going to win?
Reward the generalist. Like, that's the whole thing. Is like, we want to reward the athlete that's good at both things, not specialize in one. Because you could do well on that workout if you were just a ninja.
Yeah.
And it's like, you could be like not very strong at all, but amazing at gymnastics stuff, and fly through the gymnastics stuff and be like, yeah, I'll break up the front squats in half. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I agree. But again, I guess the truth of the matter is when you look at the top level athletes, that's exactly what happened is the top level athletes are the best generalists. So I guess that's what happened. But
I think if this workout was programmed any other year, he would have had to have made it. You have until the 22-minute mark to hit your clean. Because it's just not fair for the people that were at the top that finished at 7:30 to have to hit their clean by 14:30 when I can just kind of do singles the whole way through and be fresh to do my clean. In my opinion, just the way that it affected the leaderboard.
you don't think it was fair that it was like as soon as you're done, you have 7 minutes? You didn't like that?
Yeah, no, because like the workout for me was way different for you, and the workout for you was way different than Rich Froning.
See, the reason I liked that in there though is because if you're an athlete, like what happens then if you get if you get time capped, like you can't do a bar muscle up?
Then you have
Is it just 7 minutes?
Have until the 22-minute mark. Yeah, the time cap for the first workout is still 15. You should just have until 22 minutes to do 21.4.
I liked it. I wish they would have let I wish they would have let us have help changing the bar out like they had the last few years.
Yeah.
That would have made a huge difference if I didn't have to change out my own weights.
That 7 minutes went by a lot faster than I expected it to.
Oh yeah. Big time. And that was my one. I was like, honestly, the lift is, I love that it was a complex. I think that was awesome.
Yeah.
But I wish they would have just allowed us to have help changing the bar out. Cause that's such like a kind of an unnecessary sort of wild card. Like just let me have help doing it, because that's
what does it matter if you have help? Like what are you saving, you know?
And then like, or just make it like take away the time element so much, or just be like, you have 3 attempts. Just do it like, say you have 15 minutes, right? Just be like, all right, you have like fucking 15 minutes to get it done, but you get 3 shots at it. Something like that.
But like you're talking, so 3 attempts after the 21.3.
Yeah.
So you're talking like your warm up to like kind of like shake out all the jitters from the first workout, and then basically you have 2 lifts, because you're not like you weren't. What did you do for your first lift? Did you jump right to like 250?
My first, I'll say on my when I went to 235, 285. I think I jumped straight to 310, and then I took a shot at 320 and missed it.
Yeah, so like that first one. But see, I went 185, 275. So I did it in 3 lifts, I guess. I did 185, 275, 305.
I say 4 lifts. Fine, 4 lifts. You know what I mean?
Get that like a one like warm up shakeout. Because
right.
Like if you fail that last one, which I almost did, you're just done.
Right. So like, and like for 17.2, like I liked the workout. Part of me was like, oh, we only have 3 workouts. I would have liked to seen like more creativity, but it's like you don't want to ruin the whole repeat a workout every year type thing. So I thought it was kind of cool, but just the way it shook out for, I guess, reasons beyond their control, it was really 3 workouts that were just great for like the smaller athlete.
Small light athlete. Definitely a small athlete open.
Right. So, I would say a light athlete, probably more than anything, just like low body weight athletes. Like, because if you're like 6'1" and weighed 180, this is a great open for you too.
Yeah, because that 21.3 took out like it took away the advantages of being like a super strong athlete, because it brought everybody back down to like kind of the beginning, the middle. Mm-hmm. Whereas like these smaller athletes aren't going to be as taxed as much from doing all the pull-ups, so they're not going to struggle as much with the complex. Whereas one of the heavier athletes who's got to go through all 90 of those reps, their grip is going to be fried.
Yeah. And I have the rips on my hands right now to prove it.
Yeah, but so like it was like you said, small athlete, light athlete. That was their open this year.
Now, one of the things we were talking about, like when they going into the open, was like, okay, they no problem sort of shaving time off the open. It's totally like the open didn't need to be as long as it was. I didn't agree with that. I like 5 weeks. Coming away from it, 3 weeks is too short.
I
It
like
needs to be a month.
I like the idea of 4 weeks with 5 workouts. I think that's a good compromise.
4 weeks with 5 workouts. So you're saying all of them have like a two-parter?
No. Two of them have a two-part.
Or sorry, one. Sorry, that's what I meant. One of them has a two-parter. You mean?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So like just like we would always have like a 21.1 and then a 21.1B or whatever, like we did. You know.
I don't like the thought of anything being programmed where someone has to come back to the gym. Like it should be, if you're going to do 2, they should be sandwiched up against each other.
Yeah. No, just exactly like it was for this one, like it was for the burpee dumbbell front squat power clean one.
What I want to see is would want to see is like 2 Metcons back to back. That's what I want to see.
It'd be interesting to be like, all right, you're gonna do like a bike work, like the workout I'm doing on Friday with the 25 cal bike, 25 box jumps, and something else, and like 3 sets of it, or 2 sets of it, and you get a score for each set with 1 minute rest in between.
Right. Like so the way they do it at the games too, like, yeah, you're going to do this one workout, you're going to rest 2 minutes, and you're going to do the next workout, then you're going to rest 2 minutes, and you're going to do another workout, and each one of them is scored individually. I think it would be cool.
that would be cool. That would be interesting. It would be definitely a change up from what they're used to.
Yeah. But overall, I'd probably say not my favorite Open, especially considering I really think Castro's been on a pretty good hot streak the last couple Opens. They've been really well programmed.
Yeah.
Like I remember 2020, I felt was a very, very well programmed Open, except for 20.2. I hated that workout. But
what was 20.2?
That was the 20-minute AMRAP, toes to bar, thrusters. Yeah.
Everybody fucking hates that workout.
Yeah. And I thought 2019 was very well programmed. I guess like I said, I beat it to death. I just didn't like the way it started, and that kind of soured it, but I guess it didn't really matter. So
yeah, I think the Open matters less now than it did 3 years ago.
Also, side note, I guess they did get a lot of blowback on the 21.3 and 21.4 because 21.1, like, okay, we're gonna have you do wall walks because we want this to be an ultimate level of accessibility for a workout. Psych, you need to be able to do bar muscle ups, and you need to have all these different weights so you can do the 1 rep max clean, and you know what I mean, all that stuff too. So yeah, I think that to a degree, if you're going to establish the standard of like, we want this to be accessible to everybody, cool. Maybe try to preserve that through the whole Open, not just for 2 weeks potentially.
Yeah. No, they shouldn't have done muscle ups, or they should have stated on their equipment list that you're going to need to be able to do muscle ups.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I would have been fine with them doing like pull ups, chest to bars, toes to bar, or I mean, you could probably they probably were complaining about toes to bar too, but like pull ups, chest to bars, and then save like toes to bar and muscle ups for the quarterfinal that's in like 2 weeks.
I would argue it's easier to do toes to bar than it is chest to bar. Like in terms of like ceiling clearance, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a little weird to me. And then like we spoke about it on the Open announcement, like all those weights too, and they have to be bumpers basically, and you have to be able to drop them somewhere safely. Like, yeah, kind of a big ask for people that don't, that are training at home or training in their garage or training at a buddy's house right now,
Yeah, but if you got the people that are complaining about not having the right equipment or whatever, but then if they didn't do that and they did another one, like, I don't know, freaking inchworms for time, then you would have had everybody else complaining to be like, oh, there was no barbell, there was no pull-ups. Like, what kind of test is that?
Yeah, like I said, I think there should have been like a 135, 95-pound bar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like,
and then maybe not a test of not a max lift.
Right. Maybe keep 21.3 relatively, get rid of the bar muscle ups maybe. And then like, at 21.4, maybe it's like squat clean grace.
Oh God.
Still like a test of strength. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just a different way.
Still a test of strength without sort of taxing people in that kind of like stressing people in that fashion,
But dude, my favorite part of the Open every year is the the screaming and the yelling when you're going for that heavy number. Like that is the best part. So
yeah,
I mean,
that is
I
a
was
cool
fine
part.
with it. I was fine with the weights, but
Yeah.
I understand why some people weren't.
Yeah. But any more, do you have any more comments or anything to sort of put in on the open? Anything we didn't cover?
You want to jump into the leaderboard a little bit?
Oh yeah, good call. Well, let's touch the leaderboard a little bit because there are some interesting things worth mentioning there. Specifically, my open prediction almost came true.
This stupid ass prediction.
Well, no, my open prediction for the women's side is, remember, I predicted someone would come out of nowhere on the women's side and win it. And we were 40 points, okay, because Tia Toomey knocked the final 2 workouts out of the park.
Tia Toomey just decided, she's like, all right, I want to win this too.
Yeah, no fucking around. So we almost had Emma Carey, a previously unknown child, win the open for the women.
Mallory O'Brien's young. Yeah, she's 17 too. She's 5th.
And she finished 5th. I also had high praise for Cara Saunders, who ended up finishing 3rd. Yep. So she's back, baby.
Yep. Haley Adams, top 10. Come at me, bro.
No, sir. No surprises there. Danny Spiegel finishing 7th was a little crazy to me for.
She shot up.
A woman of her carriage.
Yeah, she shot up because she started out a little bit poor, not poor for her standards, and then just got better each week.
Some people that we mentioned also that did well. So some validation to our opinions is Gabriella Magala finished 12th, which is kind of cool. Seeing another European woman on the scene there. I think European, and then Danielle Brandon also finishing 13th.
Yeah, Roby's girl.
Yeah.
Kristen Holta finishing 17th.
Jesus Christ, her time on 21.2 was unreal.
Yeah, but she wasn't first place.
What's that?
She wasn't first place in 21.2. Somebody beat her.
She took 2nd, and it was I think it was Emma Carey that beat her.
Yep, by 7 seconds, which is crazy. God.
And in other news, Team CrossFit Mayhem Freedom is fucking loaded, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, Andrea Neisler finishing 19th. Like Andrea Neisler, she's like the Benny the Jet Rodriguez of the women's field. Like she hasn't competed on the school team, so nobody understands how good she is. But like you could put her out in the games, and it's like all of a sudden she might compete for she compete for top 10. And nobody's ever seen her compete as an individual.
They finished first in every workout except for 21.4, and that's just because it was like a few random teams that didn't have a lot of that could clean a lot.
Yeah. Who's the other woman that signed up that's with Mayhem Freedom now?
Oh God, give me a second.
Yeah. See if you can find that real quick. It's just I know her name. It's just kind of slipping my mind right now. I can't remember. And then if we make our way over to the men's side, some interesting stuff. Jeffrey Adler takes home the W.
Can you say that he kind of came out of nowhere, even though he was in the top 5 last year? It feels like a kind of out of nowhere thing, even though he was.
No, I don't think you can say that, because he made it to the games last year in an online format. And he won an open workout last year. He won the clean and jerk box jump workout.
Taylor Williamson,
another freaking stud.
I didn't know Chase Hill was the other guy.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I thought that might end up coming back to hurt him, but it looks like they're just so superior to everybody else, it won't matter.
Okay, back to
the. But yeah, Jeff Adler takes first place. Can't say I expected that, but I don't think you would say he came out of nowhere. And then all kinds of surprises down the men's board. Yeah. This is going to be a crazy year of men's competition.
I'm excited for it. I'm more excited for the men's than I have been in quite some time.
Yeah, absolutely. So Scott Panchik, the guy in our Fraser retirement episode, you were like, oh, who should we look out for? And I'm like, Scott Panchik, man, this could be his time. He takes second place. exact
I can't
same
believe
margins
he
as women.
finished sixth in 21.3.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
like he's good at all that stuff, but like I wouldn't have thought like sixth in the world good.
right. And then as we work our way down the line, Travis Mead, I would say that would be kind of a surprise, even though I think he's never made it to the games. He's only been a regionals athlete.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And then we have
Also,
Saxon Panchak, number 4.
Side note on Travis Mead, he did Murph every day for 30 days prior to the Open.
Really?
Yep.
Where's he from? There was a gentleman that lives out here that did that too. So how many guys have done Murph every day for 30 days?
Too many people.
How do you not tear a bicep or like blow your shoulder out? Like, what do your knees feel like after that? You know?
I have no idea.
The gentleman that did it out here was a doctor out in Lancaster who did it. And like he did all his blood markers and everything afterwards. And he got like insanely healthy and it was crazy.
His 30th day was March 10th.
Good God.
And he is Iron Valley CrossFit, which is somewhere that I don't know.
Well, while you're looking that up, at the number 4 slot, then we have Saxon Panchik, which I don't know if anybody predicted either. And then in the number, probably the biggest surprise of the entire Open, for reasons I don't know why it was a surprise, but Rich Froning takes 5th place.
Wait, why is that a surprise?
Because
he's surprised by that.
33.
Who was surprised?
He's doing team. He doesn't really seem to give a shit about the Open anymore.
He's finished in the top 10 like every year since he started. Like,
yeah, but
I mentioned
I was very surprised by it.
I mentioned in the one pod that I thought he might be one of the ones to win it. Actually,
but it also didn't really seem like and again, like, okay, the first workout's going to have wall walks in it. Who's winning it? Or does Rich Froning shoot to the front of your mind?
No.
Yeah. So that, I mean, and to be fair, he did take 58th in it, but.
How about my boy Samuel Cornier? I had him in my top 10.
I was going to shout you out on that. Yeah, took 7th place, and then Noah Olson. I had so much faith in you.
I know you went for the Triple Crown. You're losing right in the first leg. I called
the Triple Crown. Oh, sorry, he took 6th instead of 1st.
It was 21.4. He had a chance until 239th and 21.4.
Yeah, and then I'm just scrolling away down. There's really I'm really excited to see how these semifinals are going to shape out. And to be honest with you, especially with the German Throwdown going to an online format, which I don't know if I'm going to really watch, but whatever the other European semifinal is, I'm probably going to tune in pretty tight for that because there's some studs in Europe. I'm really excited to watch that I've never actually seen compete before. Oh, how about that bum Brent Fikowski finishing 22nd place despite being 220 pounds.
Yeah. Talking about like the outlier when we talk about big athletes not doing well in this one.
Yeah, but beats the likes of beats guys like Cody Anderson and whoever else.
He finished.
Cole Sager, your best friend.
First off, calm down with that. Brent Fikowski finished 15th in 21.1.
Yeah, I actually thought he did better than that.
Look, I got all my money riding on Chandler Smith.
Where I don't see him on page 1.
59th.
59th?
59th.
You're cashing your mouth's writing too expensive of a check for Chandler Smith. But it's good. Listen, you ride that horse, man.
Hey, look, at least my check is still able to be cashed. Yours went out the window in the friggin' first phase.
Who was that?
Olsen, man. He didn't win the Triple Crown. Done.
That was a prediction. I still stand by him. Nothing has changed for me. And my horse is 53 spots ahead of your horse.
But he didn't win the Triple Crown. And I'm sorry I didn't get to do the women's and put all my money on Tia Toomey. Shocker of the year.
No, I didn't put my money. I said somebody out of nowhere was going to be. I lost that one too.
But she was number 1 in your power rankings.
Oh yeah, okay.
Chandler Smith was number 1 in my power rankings. So
my power rankings was essentially a top 9.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Well, all right. Perfect place to stop off from right there. Let's wrap this up. Listeners, thank you for tuning in today. Do not forget to do your jerk work. Make sure you tag us in that on Instagram. Check us out on Facebook. We have a YouTube channel. And don't forget to leave us a review on iTunes. That is important for us for getting our voices in the ears of more people. Parting words, Dunk.
Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for listening, everybody.